What's up, my favorite people? I am proud to say I was able to acquire this house for $0 out of pocket. And no, I did not steal it, in case you're wondering if there's a way to actually steal properties out there. But you'll definitely want to stay until the very end, because this is something that anyone can do, and it's a great way to start earning passive income. But first, I need to get some caffeine in my system. So for those of you who are just now coming across me, you may not know the full context on my story, but I started in construction and I started to learn that those who were the utmost successful and wealthy and rich did not become that way by being in construction, a laborer, which is exactly what I was. A huge grind for sure, but I started studying them and seeing that they got that way by investing. So that's why I decided to make the shift. But I had all these limiting beliefs that, okay, well, now I need to buy houses and property. However, I don't have the cash. And then that was me coming up with, okay, it's just another problem to be solved. So I went out there, I started networking with people, and the person who I ended up partnering with, who actually ended up being my mentor after that, is we were working out at the CrossFit gym together, had formed a relationship with them. And this is one thing I always mention to everyone is these things take time. I know we're in the social media age where you see that, oh, they just acquired that deal, it was super simple. No, it takes, it's patience, it's progress, and day in and day out commitment. So just one day had approached him and said, hey, let's go out to lunch. We actually went to a nearby Subway, and we were just talking about real estate. And he said that he already had some apartments, some multifamily units that he had owned. So he already had, so he was already in the game basically. And he said that I want to shift from buying multifamily or multi-units to now just houses. And he said, I don't have the time, but I do have the cash. And I said, well, I do. That's something that I can actually help you with. And then that's how that partnership ended up coming together right there. And the value exchange is determining what my strengths were, along with weaknesses, and then finding someone, okay, what are their strengths and then their weaknesses, and see how we can complement each other. And that's how committed I was to figure it out and not let that be an excuse for me, such as, okay, you need to have a lot of experience to get started. Okay, you need to have a large amount of cash, or you need to be of a certain age. I was 23 years old actually when I acquired this first house, and we'll later go into that as well. But all these different things I see that people come up with, but there's other people who have done it, such as myself, and people who have overcome all these obstacles. So definitely you will be able to do it as well. Now the next steps is to find the house, the deal. So this is the next step. Is I was using multiple channels at this moment in time as a way to start to get the houses in, and was handwriting letters directly to the owners of the actual houses. And then second is I was going out to events, meetups, for people that actually had connections with these property owners that were looking to actually sell their house. And so one ended up coming in, one, it looked good on the numbers. So they sent it over, and I said, okay, like the location, the numbers make sense too. And at that point in time, the purchase of the house was $25,000. Yes, this was in about 2014. So houses in Indianapolis were cheaper than they are now, but Indianapolis is very affordable. I know those of you who may be in California, New York, couldn't even get a piece of a land for that much, but here in Indianapolis, you can get very affordable properties in working, so C to B to even A neighborhoods, and it's all subjective, of course, because I digress. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. $25,000 was the purchase price. $15,000 was the estimated rehab, and would be all in to that house $40,000. And the after repair value, once we put in those renovations, was estimated to be over $100,000. So that right there has had about $60,000 of equity that we had there. from what we're invested into it, and then if we were to go sell the property, and then the estimated rent was $800. And at that time and this was a mistake I ended up making, is that should have used a calculator to actually run the numbers, but at that point in time was just using simple rules of thumb, which by no means I would recommend that for anyone that's starting out. Use a calculator so you actually know what your expenses are. Okay, what are your property taxes? What's your insurance? Okay, what's going to be your management fee, your electricity if you're paying that, or the utilities. That way you understand, okay, I invest this is going to be my return on investment. But after that is the rule of thumb that we use did make sense. So I sent that over to my mentor, and then he funded that purchase price of $25,000. So that was no money out of my pocket. And then he ended up funding the rehab too. But after everything was closed, that's when I got thrown into the fire. Okay, now it's time for you to go figure everything out. He still looked over my shoulder, but that's how I ended up really getting my foot in the door. And from that is I was able to get equity in the deal as well. So not only was the property free for myself, but in addition to that is I was able to get equity in that house as well. So when the cash flow came out, and then also when selling the property, would get a split of that as well. So being creative with it. But that's just one thing I want to allude to everyone on here, is that when there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure you've heard that so many times, but that was the first way on how I was able to acquire that house for free. So $0 out of my pocket. And I learned so much through that experience. But is that I want to allude to everyone, you on the other side, is that there is always a way. I had so many limiting beliefs in that feeling that I was 23 years old when I first got that deal. Many people would say, oh, too young to be able to start buying houses. The second is I didn't have a large amount of cash. Third was I didn't really have the experience, but I did have the commitment and the hustle. So I would like for you all to go ahead and comment below, literally, and just say anything, and you can actually comment below and say anything. It really helps on the YouTube algorithm so more people can see this. I do greatly appreciate it on the engagement, you guys, so more people can see this. That way they're able to get value as well. Don't be stingy, you guys, and just be behind the shadows and not like, and then also not comment below, and then also subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Keep being awesome, you guys. Much appreciated. Thank you so much.